And I'm live. Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? Happy quarantine. Hey. How's everybody enjoying their time off? For those of you that have time off, for those of you that have to work, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what's good and what's bad and what a better side of the fence to be on is. But here we are. Who would have thunk it, but here we are. Anyways, let's not talk about that because that's, you know, on everybody's mind. Let's try to talk about stuff that we love. Let's talk about guitars. Let's talk about music. Let's get our minds off of that for a little bit. And a little break from reality doesn't hurt, right? So I got a guest today, folks, and it's a mystery guest, as you all know, and it's someone who was on the channel once, a very, very long time ago, and it was like an off-time show that I did. But it's someone that I know quite well. Someone that here's a big hint that I did some recording with just last Sunday. So without further ado, I want to introduce my brother, Dennis. Hey, Dennis, how's it going, man?
Good, thanks. How's everybody doing out there?
How's
We're all
everybody?
good.
Hope everybody's doing well. I was having issues. Can anybody in the chat let me know how the mics are sounding? Because last show I did, I had all kinds of noise. So if somebody would quickly tell me if my mic is sounding okay, if I've got any background noise, that'd be great. And also for Dennis as we go along here. In the meantime, Dennis lives in a guitar shop apparently. Yeah. Sounds good here, says Mitch. Thanks, Mitch. Metalhead Hippie says it sounds a little loud, but everybody else says it sounds good. So I'll go with the majority. All right, let me just start at the very top before we get into it here. We got 28 people in here already. Just want to say hello to some people. Got James Severin is here. Hey, James, how are you? HX Effects Rule with the tube amp. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that later. Zach Thong is here. Bruce is here. Who else we got? We got Zach Thon. We got Sour Notes. Paul, how you doing, buddy? We got the original Paramutant. How are you? Tim Seymour is here. Thanks everybody for popping in. Grumpy Mike is here. Jack Clark is here. BC Rich 581. There's Daniel Horsley. Terry Himes is here. Joe Hervey 84 is in here. Who else we got? Mitch Heyman. Thanks for letting me know about the sound. And Mitch, I got to talk to you about this camera business if you get a chance later on. William De Silva's here. BB Mate, how are you? Merrill J. And there's Metalhead Hippie. Shauna Marie, nice to see you back, Shauna Marie. It's been a while. Brian S. Hey, Brian. Jeff Miller. Marco's Images. Yeah, Marco's Images, exactly. All the very best to everyone. Play safe and keep smiling. That's right. Bearded Blues Dude is here. Jack the Rabbit, Great Vanzini. Hey, there's Johnny Bean. How are you, Johnny? PJ and the Beard. Okay, cool. All right. Brian S. First thing he says, I want to see Dennis Sir Telly. You mean the Sir Strat? Yeah, I was wiped out that day. Yeah, we'll do a tour of the guitars that you can see behind him. We'll go through all that in a little bit here. Hey, there's Music Therapy Laz. How are you? Six String Brian, how's it going? Yeah, so folks, as we go along here, we got 41 people in here. You guys rock. Thanks for that, Hippie. If you guys have questions, just tag myself, and I'll relay the questions to Dennis. So for those of you that don't know, so Dennis is my younger brother, and he also plays guitar, and he can play way better than I can. And he's been playing consistently. I've been playing in chunks, but he's been doing it all the way through. So maybe so that you kind of familiarize yourself with him a little bit more, I'll pretend I don't know him, and I'll ask stupid questions. And if you've got questions as we go along, and we'll get into his background, and we'll get into the recording stuff, and then we'll look at his guitars and all that kind of good stuff. So,
yeah, fire away, guys, if you have any questions.
the Dogpuss says, but you have hair and a hot singer.
There's trade-offs. I'm taller than Walter.
So yeah, taller. He got the height. All right. So So let's start at the beginning. So I don't. Okay, I'm gonna pretend I don't know these answers. But
Sure.
when did you start playing the guitar? How are you? Go ahead.
Hope everybody's good online too. Hi to all our friends out there, especially the friends that I made through the hack as well. So very quickly, essentially everything that I'm accomplished guitar wise is pretty much the hack's fault here. So being a little guy growing up with a big brother that's really into Kiss and like his music and stuff like that, from a very young age. I got exposure to music in our neighborhood where we were living at the time. Our the neighborhood kids and like our next door neighbors and stuff, they all took music lessons. They were all kind of into music, and so I was very lucky and very fortunate to have a bigger brother that was totally into guitar and music, and also neighborhood kids that we're all kind of like probably not the coolest kids, but we were really into music, and so that just kind of became a thing when I was really young and growing up. And our family has a history of music, and it's kind of a little bit in the blood, but we didn't really have sort of any opportunity for kind of like formal training or music school ideas. Both the hack and myself grew up with parents that didn't. I mean, God love them; they're great, but music was sort of not something that you should be doing in terms of anything serious or having a career path. Our uncle was a musician, and anyway, there's a lot of stuff packaged in there. However, both my brother and myself kind of didn't listen to our parents and just kind of pursued it and just went from there. I got into bands from a very young age, and there was quite a few revelation moments for me uh, being that young. And my brother here, the hack, would take me to his rehearsals.
Yeah, I
And
remember that.
I would be like pretty young. I got thrown out of a bar one time because I was underage because I went to go see him play. You remember that one?
I remember that gig. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first time I ever got to play a musical instrument was an electric bass because you took me to your rehearsal with your buddies at the time, and I got to play your buddy Andy's bass.
Oh,
And
Andy.
yeah, and I was like floored, right? And you guys were like, "Wow, you can actually hold down something." And I was like, "Oh, I just love music." Mom would get really mad at me for stealing her vacuum cleaner parts because I wanted a guitar so bad. And then eventually, so when I got into grade 6, I remember asking you like, "I want to play guitar. I want to play guitar," and being a big wussy pants about it, essentially. And you're like, well, you can play bass, like if you want. It's in the orchestra. So I was like, okay, cool. That's the closest thing to a guitar, right? Like, and I liked the bass. Like, I really liked bass at the time. And mom and dad weren't too happy when I brought home the bass. Like, I dragged it home from school that day, and I got, one day I had to carry it home. And but from there, playing that bass and playing in the orchestra, I got really tuned into like what it was to play music. Just that, so that was between grade 6 and grade 8. So you're 12 to 14 years old in Bloor Lee there, school we went to.
One thing before you keep going, Dennis,
Yep,
people are saying your volume is too low and mine is too high. I just turned myself
sure.
down a bit. If you could turn yourself up a bit, that'd be great.
Yep. Let me try and maybe lean in here. Okay. Hopefully that's a little better.
Yeah.
But yeah, long rambling story. So from grades, from that age, I got tuned into music, hanging out with you and watching Song Remains the Same, Stevie Ray Vaughan live at the Alma Combo. It all just kind of soaked into my head. And early Kiss, Aerosmith. I was into my own stuff too, but like just from there, I just started studying and going into music. I was really for a long time into hip hop and like other non-guitar types of music and keyboards and jazz. And I mean music's endless, so I got from a very young age, I got exposed to it. Listening to the traditional music that we listen to, in our culture, and just music around. It was hypnotizing for me. So that's kind of how it started. You gave me all my first lessons. our great cousin lent me my first acoustic guitar that I could start, just to plunk away on when I was like, I think 13 or 14.
I remember going down to buy your first guitar.
Yeah, my first electric guitar. We went downtown, and you had to help talk mom and dad into lending me the money, and I had to pay them back. I had to get a job, and like,
I think I was with you when you bought your first Gibson too.
that's right. It was a
Studio, right?
yeah, that Cherry Les Paul Studio. It had an
Yeah,
EMG pickup. We bought that at a shop that's no longer in
no longer
business.
there, yeah.
Yeah, that was my first really good guitar.
Yeah. Let's do
Yeah, so
those. Yeah,
mhm.
early studios in the '90s were actually really good.
Yeah, that was an early '90s studio. Yeah, it had an EMG pickup in it, EMG 81. It was already modded and used, so I got it at a good price. You had found it at that store, and you were like, "Oh, you got to get
You
this."
got to get it. Yeah.
And one of the first shows like first real shows, and one of my first real bands I ever played was with that guitar.
Mm.
And that dates, like, that goes back to the '90s for sure.
So
Good time.
I got to read a couple of comments here because they're pretty funny. So
Sure.
we talked
Sorry.
about you being taller than me. Brian S goes, everybody's taller than me. Yeah, except for Nuno Betancourt. Apparently, Nuno Betancourt and I are the same height.
Oh, boy.
Totally different talent levels, but at least we're the same. I got that going for me. And hey, there's Brad Miller. Let me just say hello to some new people that popped in.
Sure, yeah.
Brad Miller's here. Dale Palmer is here. Okay, who else? Jack. Well, I think I said hello to Jack, but hello again, Jack. Ron Limber is here. Peter Brown. Hey, man. Good evening from Chicago. Hey, Peter. How are you? Layla's Guitar Daddy is here. Pete Brown is here. Bearded Blues dude. Oh, Gussie Wells. How are you, Gussie? Gussie's asking the age difference. It's like 11 years and months.
Yeah, around there.
Yeah, yeah. So, hey, and there's Gurr. There's Bent Rawson, Bearded Blues dude. Bearded Blues dude says he thinks I'm taller than Steve Stein. Apparently, Steve Stein is also very short. Yeah. Oh, I didn't get the height. So, anyway. No basketball. Here. Pete
Genetics,
Brown
right? You still have
who
the hair,
is- Pete Brown is asking who is younger. Seriously? You can't tell who's younger. I'm much
Yeah, I'm pretty haggard. Yeah.
I'm much older. Hey, there's on 36 solo. How's it going? Mike Jack Guitar Nut, how are you? So I remember I don't know if it was your first band, but that band that you had in high school, and you guys actually did a recording in that same studio that I was using.
Yeah.
With
Splithead. Yeah, we were like a metal band. Yeah.
what's that guy's name? The guy who on the
Mike Pedro. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember him. His mom used to make us coffee all the time.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. That
Yeah,
was I don't know if it's still around. I should check, I'd just love to go visit.
Yeah, man.
I mean, that place you and I go back with that place. Like, you had recorded with your band when that place was getting built up.
Yeah.
And I was a little kid there, like hanging out, watching you guys rehearse and watching Mike build up that studio over years.
Yeah.
And just constantly renovating it and trying to, get a successful business going out of it. And yeah, like, I hope it's still around. A lot of my friends in the local areas, like, we all rehearse there. We all know about it. We all know Mike.
Yeah.
Wish him well.
Yeah, Mike's a good dude. Yeah, Mike.
Yeah.
I actually that's where I recorded that cassette when I was in the ethnic band that we used to sell at all the gigs. I did it at Mike's studio. That was my
that's the same place I recorded my cassette. I'm kind of following in your footsteps a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
well, your cassette was like heavy metal. Mine was like traditional freaking.
I think both cassettes are probably equally annoying at this point.
I don't even know if I have any of mine left. It's like, we sold a shit ton of them, though, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. No, that was good. I mean, I remember your rig at the time. You had the Strat, and that Fender, was it a Princeton?
Yeah, it was a piece of shit. I used to. So okay, so folks, you heard it first. So here's my witness. My first main guitar was a Strat. Yes or no?
Oh, for you? No, your first was that Les Paul, that copy Les Paul that I remember. Well,
No,
you
no,
had
no,
that
no, no. That
acoustic.
I gigged with, that I played all the time. It was a
Oh
Strat.
yeah, it was that Strat. Yeah, for sure. Well, no, sorry, no, my bad. I think it was that Ibanez Roadstar.
No, the Ibanez was on stage with me as a backup, and I used it for like one song because it had whammy bar in it. But it was the Strat
Sure.
the whole
It was
time.
a Strat, that Strat Plus. It was, I think, right?
Yeah, it was a Strat Plus that
Yeah.
I've sold recently,
Yep.
not a couple of years ago. Anyways, but yeah, I had a Princeton. It was a solid state Fender Princeton chorus. Andy bought me that. He went to the States, bought a whole bunch of gear in a van, and brought it over.
I think you had one of the Boss multi effects at the time, if I'm not mistaken, like an
Yeah,
ME6 or something.
yeah, it was shit.
Uh,
Well, it was good
yeah.
time, but it was they have the MEs, right? I think that was
Yep.
like an ME. It was old, like an ME8 or something. I don't even know. I threw it
I
out.
think it was a 6. Yeah.
It was a 6.
I think so, because I ended up buying one a few years later. Yeah, so for your audience, maybe you guys might hear echoes of the same.
Yeah, yeah.
And ironically enough, I borrowed your shitty Fender Princeton amp to record that shitty cassette demo at Mike's studio, if you remember that.
Because he didn't have a big amp.
I didn't have a good amp,
Yeah.
and Mike was like, "Oh, you want to record with this thing again?" And he had to give me a ride home in his creepy white van with that amp.
It was big.
Yeah,
It was.
yeah.
Was it? Yeah, it had 2 speakers. It was stereo,
It
wasn't it?
was. It was like a two. I can't remember if it was a 210 or a 212.
I don't know. You know what?
Yeah.
And when I like here, I mean, here I am playing in every weekend in front of hundreds of people.
Yeah.
And I had no idea about tone. My tone was like shit. You know what I mean?
It
Because
was different times back then, man. Same here. Yep.
I didn't know any better. I didn't
Yeah.
know any better. And it's like, because there was no YouTube, there was no this or that. I didn't actually start really learning about tone until about 7 or 8 years ago. When I started
Yeah.
playing again. Then it's like, oh,
Right.
tone, oh, tone. Now I'm a tone fiend, right? But yeah,
Yep.
and I keep, one of the things I talk a lot about on the show, and that is the importance of tone. Like, because no matter, you could be the greatest player in the world, if your tone sucks, you're gonna sound like shit. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? Whereas you can be not a great player and have good tone, and you can get away with things.
Well, you are a great player, first of all, but you're right. Learning guitar and playing as long as you have, yeah, it's you can somewhat about the finger movements and whatnot. You got to get all that down. But yeah, just knowing how to use amps, guitars, there's a certain aspect of mastery having to learn that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I have flashbacks all the time of the stupid setups
The
and
shit
rigs.
that we used to play, yeah. Hey, there's Dave
Yeah.
Guitar Channel. Hey, Dave, how are you, man? Dennis, bro. Hey, Dennis, welcome. He goes, I ordered a Tommy Thayer electric blue guitar. It's coming from China in June.
Nice.
I cancel it due to the coronavirus. I don't know. Well, maybe just wipe it down when you get it. Disinfect it, man. I don't know.
I love the color on those, man.
Yeah, it's, you know what? And it's even got the matching bobbins on the
Yeah,
okay?
on the knobs here or whatever. Sorry.
Yeah,
These guys, you mean?
if I'm not mistaken, it's the Jimmy Page thing. So he's got a covered pickup on the neck and an uncovered on the bridge.
Sorry, I suck at camera work. Yeah, exactly.
And the one
They look sharp.
is just, it's uncovered, and it's blue bobbins on that.
Yep.
So. Ben Rawson was saying it's so weird saying guitar hack with no hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, give it a
alternate version.
It's running away from my face. Just give it a couple of months, man. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like Bizarro hack.
So that was your first band, right? Did you guys? I remember you guys did a gig too downtown somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
we did in the high school days. We played like wherever and whenever, and it was all just that old school sort of grassroots, like um, play where you can. So basement parties and things like that. Back in those days, there was a few what a lot of common what musicians ran into commonly a lot, where there's these organizations that were promoters, and they would put on shows and they would get bands to play them, but they would make you sell tickets. So I don't want to say any names due to potential legal reasons, but there's a couple places in our sorry, a couple organizations in our neck of the woods that would you could play a show at like a downtown club, but you were contractually sort of obligated to sell tickets, and you had to have a certain number of people show up, and these weren't cheap tickets at the time. And you would basically be thrown on stage with like 18 or 12 other bands, whoever could sell some of these
right.
expensive tickets.
And whoever sold the most was a headliner of that show, right?
Exactly, and they won the band competition, right? It was a competition,
Yeah.
battle of the bands, right? All like every week at a few different places downtown. So I'd played a few of those, or I'd go, I would suck it up for some of my friends and buy tickets and go down there and see them. And it was just, it was a bunch of teenagers, a bunch of clown heads like myself, on like a multi-build stage. So, it's a throw and go type gig. Sometimes they'd have a back line. Um, Sometimes you'd have to bring your own stuff. And like, it was just chaos. I mean, considering, what it takes to switch, the time it takes to switch between bands and, so that was a lot of my first experiences. And a lot of these organizers and managers were real, well, they're dicks. They're criminals.
Yeah.
You know,
I
so not, not what you want to start. If you want like a good experience playing in bars or just playing music, in general.
but I saw you do didn't you did some street festival too, I remember you singing at.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, we did it.
that's
Yeah,
where you had Matt on the drums. Was still for me, I think. Well, I don't know. Him and Mike are the best drummers I've ever played with.
right. Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm pretty lucky to play with to have played with guys like Matt. I'm a good friend of mine in Walters. I went to school with Matt, so I've known him a long time. So shout out, brother, and congrats on the new addition to the family.
Oh,
Um,
well, that.
but yeah, I don't think he's watching, but and he's probably got his hands full, I would imagine. But great guy, and just incredible drummer.
He's a beast.
A couple other guys that I just played with over the years. That my buddy Mark, just legendary, just the best, like best guys in the world.
You
I'd
had
put them up against anybody.
that was Burning City, right? Was that the band?
Yeah, shout out to the Burning City band. That had a couple of different iterations and membership changes. That's when I bought my first telly, and that was after I'd sort of given up a little bit on some of the hip hop stuff, and my buddies in university convinced me to pick up the guitar again and play with them. And yeah, everything just kind of went from there. So that was one of my first. That was kind of after high school, so that was kind of in my younger, I guess, 19s, 20s, early 20s. And I was still doing some hip hop stuff. I was putting up like turntable contests and DJ stuff on the side. But these guys eventually sucked me back into guitar and rock. Like I remember I hooked up with them in their basement with turntables and my buddy, and we started scratching. And then they had guitars there, so I picked up a guitar and I started playing it. They're like, "You're never playing turntables again. Stick to the guitar." So I
Well,
was just like, "Okay."
you guys did you guys do a CD or something? I think
Yeah, we
you
did a
did. I think
CD, a
you made
couple of them.
CDs. Like that was
Yeah.
a good band, super tight. But you guys needed a
Oh
singer.
yeah.
You needed a singer. Because you were basically had the guy was basically rapping over top, wasn't it?
Yeah, my good buddy Scourge. Yeah, we had some singing power that was provided by mostly background singers. Our singer, we didn't really call him a singer, he's more of a front man.
Well,
That's what we went with.
nice.
Careful marketing. He could sing some notes, but leave the singing to the singers.
Yeah, yeah. Let me
He's
just.
a great front man, though.
Yeah, it was good.
Uh,
Mine was super tight and just rocking.
yeah,
I remember that.
yeah,
That
we had.
was a great show.
Yeah, I remember you seeing us a couple times. That was a great band. I mean, from there, like I've been again really, really lucky to play with some great bands. I was in a Police cover band for a little bit, and a Ninos is a amazing
Yeah,
'90s cover band that I was in with Matt and a bunch of really heavy duty players
that
and
was
talented
that
guys.
was the longest. Was that was the band you were with the longest, I believe, right?
Yeah, I think so. If you add up the years, that was a great experience. I mean, with all bands, personnel changes happen, but still, I was lucky to play with like some really great guys.
And just
And so,
sorry, Larry. Let me
sorry,
just
go ahead.
say hello to a few more people, and then we'll jump right back
Yep.
to you. Zach Thong is here. Hey, Zach, how are you? I'm just going down looking for some questions. Weedy Guitar Studios here, Hand 36 Solo. How are you? Uh, oh, Brian S is saying you should come down to Gear Fest if it happens, but who the hell knows what's going to happen now?
Mm.
Pete Brown is saying Guitar Hack. Maybe you two can do a quick jam. We have. How many times have we actually gigged together? I can think twice, right? Twice.
Yeah, officially, I dragged you into the Ninos thing. That for that first gig. And then there was that private party gig that we played
Yeah,
where I
that was
pulled you
it.
in
Yeah, it
with
was your
Corey.
rehearsal. That was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I figured, hey, you know what?
that
Start
rehearsal,
playing.
you know, the funny part was that rehearsal was a shambles, man. But then when the gig came, and there's Corey like looking at my hands the whole night trying to figure out what's going on. But you know
Yeah.
what? The gig actually came off all right.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
'Cause
we had that one booked for quite some time, and the we got a good reception. And yeah, I mean, it just goes back to like I was saying earlier, just having great guys to play with. Like Corey is solid. With a cover band, it's a little bit easier because you can just kind of frame out what guys have to play, and if you
yeah,
got somebody that can just go home and do the homework,
yeah.
someone that's reliable. So and half the other guys in the group already know all their stuff. So you knew probably I think 90% of those 90% of those songs at the time. So it's just a matter of fitting that all in together.
Yeah, just the arrangements. Pete Brown.
Mhm.
So for those, I have, I think I think I got Melon Jolly. If you guys want to hear a collaboration of the two of us on a song, I've got in my playlist original music. There's just one song there, and it's a song that it's a that was a real collaboration because I was straight down the middle, 50-50. I had half the music, you had half the music. I did half the leads, you did half the leads.
Mhm.
So that's a good collaboration. If you guys want to check that out, it's in my playlist. If one of my mods could throw up the link, that'd be great. Appreciate that. Um, okay, I'm just going down seeing if there's any more. Oh, Bent Rossum, Guitar Hack. Would you ever have Dennis sub for you in the other place we don't talk about? No, he doesn't do that. Talking about the other place we were talking Ixnay.
Okay, moving
Yeah,
on.
we talked about it before. You know what? You'll figure out what I'm saying. Growlbar is here, and there's Gurr, and there's the dog paw. Okay, I'm keeping an eye out for questions now, folks. Keeping an eye out for questions.
I
So,
don't know if I properly answered the last question. So,
go ahead.
did we jam? Have we ever jammed? Yeah, we play around, fool around all the time. As far as recordings, we've got a few. Hopefully, your fans have seen that last video of the recent thing that we're cooking up.
Hmm.
As far as jamming, I don't think we've really had like a free for all sort of blues jam or anything like that in a while. But we have in the past.
I used to bring you out sometimes when I'd get jams with guys. You used to bring
Yeah,
out,
absolutely.
yeah, I remember because you would bring out a drummer, and I'd
That's
put
right.
Andy, and we'd have, yeah, that's holy shit. That's like 30 years ago, man. That's like in the 90s to do that. It is.
Yeah, I know.
It's 30 years ago. I'm not kidding. It's 30 years ago. You know,
No, yeah,
and I'm
that's
still,
I used to have long flowing hair back then. It was gorgeous, but
you know, and
guitar.
I'm still waiting for Corey to call me back because he's looking for a couple of guys for us to jam. That's been going on for like 3 years. It's every once in a while, Corey and I, we talk still, right?
Oh man, yeah, and
Oh,
that's such a great thing.
we were in a band together. Totally forgot about Undercover.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
That's
that
right.
was yeah, that's true. Yeah, we tried the cover band thing for a bit.
We tried
Yeah,
doing.
that was like a year and a bit that we put some effort and we had undercover and we did that one sort of preview show. So no, you're right. I totally forgot
Yeah,
that
that was
that one
we
too.
gig 3 times. Yeah,
Did we?
yeah, we did. That was the third gig.
Man, I'm getting old.
Right. I did the 90s thing. I did that birthday or party. It was a birthday party thing with you,
Oh, sorry.
and then we did Undercover. There's 3 right there.
Yeah, that's three. Sorry, I thought you meant we did 3 undercover gigs. I'm like,
Oh no, we didn't do one real gig, not even one. Because as soon as we finally got a real gig. Friggin', I forget his name now. The singer guy just went all flaky on us.
sure.
Yeah, he had LSD, linger
Yeah.
disease. Pete Brown is saying, Guitar Hack, that's really cool. You two brothers both play and have played together. I used to play with my oldest brother. He sang and played rhythm, and I played lead. We both wrote. That's cool, man. That's
awesome.
Hack is wearing a Canadian tuxedo. Yes. Yeah.
Very, very sharp.
Very Canadian. Yes. Yes. Okay, I'm keeping an eye out on the chat for comments and stuff.
Yep.
So the 90s. So that went for a long. I remember you being in that band forever, and you guys did well with that group.
It was fun, yeah, and we did play some great shows, some not so great shows. Um, my good friend Mark started that band with me because we just wanted to play together, and he was like, let's just do a cover band and let's focus only on the 90s.
Mm,
Um, and this was many years ago when the 90s wasn't quite so
30.
retro.
Yeah.
I mean, at that time, some of our competition would have been bands like the 905 band in our area. And like there's a Pearl Jam band that tours around. But like because it was so long ago, 90s wasn't seen 90s retro music still had like a fan base, but I guess it was just the timing, right? Like it's too new kind of.
Mm,
But so nobody that we knew of at the time was they were either doing specialized bands like only doing Red Hot Chili Peppers or Pearl Jam or Soundgarden or GNR, like they were specializing. We decided to go like across the 90s, and try and play as much as we could.
yeah.
And people like, so I had no idea that it was going to work, but we went at it and had like a great reception. People and I got like really happy about it because I mean I knew the band was good. We could play anything. Like the musicians in
Oh,
that
yeah,
group were just
man.
off the charts good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't have to worry about that, my singer or anything like that. Like these guys were. It's always great to play. I think you've said this before. It's always great to play with people that are better than you. So we had that going for us, but we also had the appreciation of the music. People were getting into the 90s at that time. It was like, oh wow, there's this cool 90s retro thing. So yeah, it went well. We played a lot of really good shows. We had a bunch of personnel changes, but that's just basically the story with a lot of bands. And ideally with cover bands, you can kind of move certain pieces and players in as you need to. Like Mark, my beloved friend that started the band with me, ended up getting a job on a cruise ship and being a drummer there. Um,
You got
what did I do is I called up my old university buddy, Mr. Matt, that we talked about before, and like, you get the best drummer in the world, and you get the other best drummer in the world. Like, wow. So I was very fortunate in those cases. And so Ninos was fun. I mean, it scratches a certain itch as far as getting out there and playing, having fun with guitar. learn. There's a challenge there because you have to cop different tones, different playing styles, all of that, and the audiences love it. So there's that aspect of it too. So I mean, you're in a cover band, like there's nothing greater than just having that audience get up and dance, and people are just going nuts, and sometimes you play some good gigs, sometimes you play some not so good gigs, but it all kind of works out in the end, right?
Yeah. Well, we did that. I mean, we did a gig last Friday at the beer market, the Esplanade. I told you about that one.
Yeah.
And already, I mean, the this stuff was already going on, obviously. And it was first they were telling us we're going to close early because there was only like 40% maybe people there capacity, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the night, they kept us going right to the end because people kept coming in and they were dancing and having a good time and they didn't want to end the night. So
yeah,
it wasn't a full house, but the people that were there enjoyed it. So
yeah. And I mean, it really, at the end of the day, I kind of, why do I play music? Or people are like, why are you so interested in it? And I think, like, well, it's not that I want to get up and show off, or it's not the ego thing. It's just getting up and seeing people have a good time and enjoying a good band. And it's I consider myself a music fan, and I like to be in a place where I see a good band playing too. Like that just makes things fun and lightens the mood, takes our mind off all of our problems. I like a lot of the bands that I've been in. I mean, there's another band, is a band called Plans for Larry, that I record with, and we're all sort of international. All the guys I went to university with, they're scattered all over the planet, but we still get together and hang out and record and do music. But we never played live, right? So we're sort of a band, but we're just kind of a loose unit of guys that all just have mutual interests.
Okay, so if you choose, like, what's your favorite thing to do? Is it the recording thing? Is it the playing live?
Well, for sure playing live.
Yeah.
And then recording that. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, playing live, because I do like the magic moments that can happen spontaneously. You were mentioning like hooking up with Corey and a drummer and just getting her together for a jam. And I think I told you I get together with my buddy Mark and bass player, or my bass player for my current band, Hello Companion. His name's Sean. We get together and we just shed. Like we rent the studio and we just go in there and blow our brains out, because there's that spontaneous interplay between, like, we really don't know what's happening next, but we're just playing and improvising the whole time. And there's crazy moments that happen. Sometimes it sounds like chicken shit. Sometimes it sounds like chicken salad.
Yep.
Everything good?
Yeah, just somebody forgot I was doing a show.
Oh, okay. Was that Pepper?
Meryl J is asking if you have a YouTube channel. Sorry. Say hello to Queen Bee.
Bye.
I do not have a YouTube channel, and I do not have a delicious Tim Hortons coffee either. Mine's homebrew. Hi, Linda, by the way. Hi, sister.
She's gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
One day I might start one, but as my brother has said before, called me out, I'm a little bit internet shy.
Yeah, well, this is the second time you're on with me, so.
Well, I was. Didn't you put me on for your studio episode and that guitar crawl thing?
Oh yeah, that's right. No, but I mean live.
Oh, okay.
It's the second time you've been live with me. I'm just going to see if I
should have warned you.
Sorry,
Sorry, go ahead.
Mitch Heyman. I'm using the lowest resolution. That's why it's clear. My question for you is, what do I need to do to go higher resolution? But we'll talk later about that if you got a minute. Metal riffs and fun thrash. Okay, I don't know what that's about, but anyway. And the Live Wires is here. How are you? Tim Hortons Delivery. Yes. Yeah. All right. So, you got into the tone thing way before I did. I think you're the one that kind of opened my eyes to the tone thing. I think you're at fault for my searching for tone.
Just payback.
Yeah, payback. But you've got a shit ton more gear than I have. So I'm sure everyone is probably curious. You got a Les Paul in your hands. If you want to maybe go through some of your guitars, prized possessions, and all that sort of thing. And Bobby Lopez, hey, Bobby Lopez, welcome. He's asking, Bobby Lopez, sorry. He's asking, what is your preferred guitar? So all the guitars that you have, what's your go-to?
Yeah, that's a great question. So yeah, I've got, sorry for the light here, guys. Let me just try and block it here. Sorry. So yeah, there's 11 instruments there. I'd probably say my main go-to would be a Telecaster. Right now, it's just getting some pickups wired in. Well, I'm doing it myself. I just got to fire up the soldering iron tomorrow. Probably my number one is my Telecaster. My number two would probably be my PRS Custom 24 that I got in, I think, 2008 or 2009. Yeah, those are just the most versatile guitars that that I find I can use, regardless if I'm playing a cover band application or if I'm playing with my original band. Yeah, I can do a quick tour if I don't want to mess up the camera here.
I don't know. Let me know if the folks in the chat. Would you like to see that? If you want to walk through some of the guitars, well, I'll give it a second here.
Yeah. I mean, really quick, I've got 11 guitars, 4 pedal boards, and 4 amps.
Hell yeah! So go for it. Bobby Lope says that would be cool. Yeah, go ahead. Let's do the tour.
Sure. Okay. Let me see if I can do this
first, because we got it in your hands.
Yeah, absolutely. So this axe right here, let's see if I can get it in the frame.
Yeah. Let me, you know what? I'm going to do this.
Yep.
And it's all you.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
I look even taller now. Anyway, what this is a 2014 Gibson Les Paul Standard. It's a class 5, bought from Long and McQuaid, which is a chain up here in Canada. It's a custom shop guitar. It's basically I don't know if you guys can see that. I took the metal thing that comes off of here as well. Class 5s are, I guess, the explanation that I was given was that basically dealers, big distributors and dealers such as Long McQuaid will put in orders at Gibson, and they'll hand pick a bunch of tops and manufacture guitars for those dealers and distributors, much like you guys probably seen on the internet with, like, other big online distributors like Anderton's
exclusive, that type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So class 5s are basically, handpicked by bigger dealers or
what kind of pickups are in that? Are they the custom buckers in that, or like
these would be burst buckers, burst bucker pros. It's a 1 and a 2, I think, here. So, and it's completely stock. I haven't modified this guitar. This is for sure the most expensive guitar that I own. It was well over like sticker price, and it was well over $5,000, closer to 6 in Canadian dollars. So this took a couple guitars to as well.
Let me interrupt you for a second. Hello Companion Band is in the chat. Welcome, Hello Companion Band.
Hey, brothers.
And James Severin, thanks so much for the super chat. Appreciate it, man. And HK is with us. And
hey,
Mike, hey, super chat, buddy. Thanks a lot, guys. All right, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. So it's basically kind of like a 59 reissue type spec. It's got the longer neck tenon and all that. I bought it because it plays and sounds amazing. I love the burst on it.
It's beautiful, man.
Yeah, it's just So this is arguably one of my main pride and joys. I have gigged with it. It does have some, rash and stuff on it. I don't know if the guys can see it.
Yeah, I can see a little bit of that.
Yeah, so like I do prize it, but it just sounds so good. I've used it on many recordings. But yeah, it's just I do baby it a little bit because it's just so bloody expensive.
I think I used that on the Melon Jolly recording. I remember I played a solo
Yep.
on that. Yeah, it's a great guitar.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, that's right. It's kind of got like I don't know what you think, Hack. I think this is sort of like the 60s profile. It's not big.
It's a little it's in between. It's a little chunkier than
the Slim Taper, do you think? Yeah.
a bit more, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not too flamey either.
No,
It's just got that right mix for me. This finish is called a bourbon burst.
That's a bourbon burst, yeah. So people are loving your guitar. Gussie Wells says, "Tell you it's a sweet axe," and Bruce loves it.
Thank you.
All right, cheers, Metalhead Hippie. Have a great day. All right. So they're asking about the Sir. So you want to grab the Sir that I called Kelly in the video?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So this is my Sir Telly here. So for fans of the Hack that probably saw this on that last video that he used this guitar on, Hack was with me when I got this guitar.
Yes,
yeah, and it was during one of our guitar crawls, so I kind of blame you. You're half.
I didn't buy anything.
That's true. So we had gone and as our usual tradition to a place called Cosmo Music up here, and that place is very dangerous to your wallet. Word of warning.
So Jeff Miller notices that we both use Dava picks.
That's correct.
Who got into Dava first? Was it me or you?
That was me.
That was you? You got me into okay, so your Davas are your fault. All right.
Yeah. So anyway, we went on our guitar crawl and I saw this thing and I played it or I picked it up off the shelf and I was like, oh, I gotta put it down. I love this thing. It's great. Put it down, gave it a week, had to go back and buy it. I traded a PRS 25th anniversary Mira for it with soap bars, Seymour Duncan soap bars. And I got a good trade-in value for that. So I picked up this thing. So this is a Sir Classic Strat. Oops. I did not order this custom configuration or anything like that. But if I were to build a Sir guitar and order one, it would have absolutely all of this. Like I love the tortoiseshell pickguard, the Olympic white pickup configuration, the maple neck, the matching headstock. Oops, sorry guys. Locking tuners. So this is just a Sir Classic. As far as jiggery pokery, cool electronic stuff on it. Sorry, let me get it in the frame here. If you pull this, it splits this pickup. If you pull this, it joins the bridge pickup with the neck. And then if you push this magic button, you get the humbucker wired directly in. Like bypasses everything. So all of this goes disabled.
You know, it did have that stuff on it.
Yeah, so there's a lot of secret stuff here under the hood with this guitar. It's and the neck on it is just I think this is called the Slim Taper C, I think. It's just sort of the middle of the road, but it's kind of unfinished.
There's no, yeah, it's smooth. It's satin.
Yeah, kind of a satin finish on it. I've used this guitar on almost all Hello Companion recordings, Plans for Larry recordings, played live shows with it. It is the Strat to end all Strats for me. The only mods I've done on it are you can't see it, but in here I've installed a what they call a tremolo system. So that's like it basically locks your bridge down because I don't really like floating bridges. So this bridge only goes down; it doesn't go up. Tremolo system in here allows you to kind of set the bridge. You can either make it float back and forth, or lock it down so it doesn't move at all, or just make it go one way.
Right.
So I've installed that in here. Everything else is stock on this guitar. Well, strap locks I've changed.
So
Yeah, that's
one of the guys in the chat, Bent, says he's got a similar cert of yours, but in a teal sparkle. That sounds nice.
Oh, that's a beautiful finish as well.
Great. I'm just looking at your back wall there.
Yeah, anything you pull off?
How about the whale blue PRS, the CE?
Oh, sure.
That's the one that I borrowed for a week.
Yeah. Here's hoping we don't have see me fall over here. Okay. Anyway, yeah, this one might be familiar to your audience.
Yeah, I did a
review
video
on
on
this
that.
guy, right?
Yeah, I did a video. Actually, the video I did on that, shit, I think I got like 6,000 views on it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's because it's a CE, man. Like that's a great guitar, man. I still love.
It is great. This one is a 2017 that I got at Long McQuaid. Again, I traded a couple guitars to get it because this thing's pretty much at the time price wise was basically on par with like a Les Paul Standard, right? Like a Gibson USA Les Paul Standard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got this. I just fell in love with it. I'm a big PRS fan. And when they brought back the CEs with the bolt-on neck, I was just like all over it. And like, what did you think about this one when you brought it out live?
I didn't gig with it, but I rehearsed with it, and I had the same reaction at both rehearsals. Like everyone, as soon as I hit a chord, everybody looked at me like, "What the hell is that?" Like it just the sound of it. It just those pickups are amazing. They
sure are.
They sound phenomenal. Somebody's asking about somebody wanted to, I think it was Jerry. Yeah, he wants to see the Explorer.
Yeah, the Explorer is very interesting. Let me grab it for you.
The Explorer that's been modded with what kind of pickups?
Well, give me a sec here. So, yeah, this one is actually one of my really treasured pride and joys because it's been modded to hell. And yes, Hack.
Yeah, it's gold.
These are Sheptone pickups.
Oh, they're Sheptone, so it's okay.
Yeah. So this is I think it's what is it? 2016 Explorer with the gold hardware, which I know Hack is a huge fan of.
Yeah.
So this guy's been very heavily modified. So new pickups, new wiring inside. The wiring came from, I think it was a company called Dark Moon Pickups. Helped me with sourcing out some of the wiring. So because I wanted a specific type of pot. So this guitar has coil splits, which I'm probably not a fan of, but both pickups split. And then over here, I've got the out of phase setting. So what else did I do to this thing? Right now, I still have the normal tuners on it. Oops, sorry. Let me try and get it in the frame here. But I am contemplating changing these out to mini locking Grover gold tuners. Yeah, but it other than that, I think it's pretty much stock. I went a little nuts with just making sure everything's gold on it.
I know it's sad. Anyway,
but it plays like a beast, and it's set up perfectly. All of my guitars are set up with 10 gauge strings, which is another one of Hack's favorite features.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I love hearing him cry about how hard it is to play my guitars.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys. So this is a great guitar. I haven't gigged with this one yet. I've used it on a ton of recordings. I will gig with it, but because it's so just like weird, I don't want to stab anyone with it. Safety first.
Yeah. Is there anybody? Let's see if we get a request for one more guitar. So you can see So he's got some Fenders behind him. He's got way more PRSs. Any requests for what you guys want to see next? Yeah, I'm just waiting. First request comes up, and we'll know which guitar to bring out. The Les Paul, the one Les Paul. BB Made wants to see the Strat, so pick your favorite Strat.
Well, my favorite Strat would be the Sir, but I do have another one here, which I can bring out. I mean, they're all my favorites, right, guys? So this Strat is a Fender. I think it's called an American Special. It's one of the few guitars that I put a sticker on. Or nickname my guitars. I call this one Cracker Jack. It's got the Fiesta Red finish on it. In tribute to one of my favorite guitar players, Mr. Gary Moore. And so what's modded with this guitar I'm working on the pickups, but the main thing you might notice is this guy right here. Which is a believe it or not, it's a Floyd Rose. This is called the Rail Tail, which I love funny names for equipment. But this is very similar to the tremolo device that I have installed on the Sur, that it only lets you go one way.
Yeah, so okay.
And I do use tremolo quite a bit. I know you're more of a hardtail kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know, the tuning stability and all that's really important. And you remember that gig with Undercover where I broke a string on my PRS and like the whole guitar went out. It was just a train wreck at that point. So I tend to prefer these types of bridges or setups. So this is a really nice bridge. I've learned about this thing from Daryl Braun, another Canadian YouTube guy, guitar player guy. And so he turned me onto this and I got it, and I've had it for about 1.5 years and it's not caused any problems. This is probably the main guitar I use with Hello Companion because it kind of does everything that I need.
Well, speaking of Hello Companion, they got a question for you. So let's play Sophie's Choice. If the house was on fire, which one would you save?
I don't know.
Right? Be a Telly, no?
Yeah, probably the Telly, just because that was the reason that guitar is probably my number one, is for really just sentimental value and reasons. And it's because our dad worked on that guitar with me. So
the Butterscotch, right?
What's that?
The Butterscotch Telly.
The Butterscotch Telly, yeah. He helped me route out the body to fit in like some pickups and stuff on it, and he messed around with the neck. So I'm never gonna let go of that guitar.
Cool, man.
Just because Dad worked on that one with me, and he didn't want to, but I convinced him.
Yeah.
So probably that one.
It says excellent answer. Okay. I'll leave it up to you. One more, whichever one you want to show.
Sure. I'm gonna bring up. Sorry, go ahead.
HK just gave us a super chat. Could you compare here's a question. Could you compare the comfort, body weights of the Les Paul, etc., with the others? Thanks.
Really good question. Sorry, give me 1 sec. I'm just going to switch up here.
Yeah.
I think I've got a good demonstration. Sorry, bear with me.
All right.
Okay.
PRS.
There we go. So, so the question about weight and comfort, right? I've got 2 non-Les Pauls and then my Les Paul. So here's the Gretsch that I think we messed around on your channel.
Yeah.
Showing everybody this guitar, right?
Yeah. We did a video called Bros. I think what I call it, Guitars and Bros, or Bros and Guitars. Check that out from a couple weeks ago. one of my mods could throw in the link, that'd be cool. And yeah, we played that Gretsch, and then you played all my Les Pauls. Anyway, go ahead. Hey,
Yeah. So,
welcome. Sorry, go ahead.
oh, no worries. So for comparison's sake, this is like a single cut design, very similar to a Les Paul, right? But it's chambered, right? So it feels ergonomically like a Les Paul, but it's pretty light in comparison. So that's just one reference point. This is my PRS McCarty 594, which for all intents and purposes is kind of like a 58 Les Paul reissue, just in a different shape. It's got some weight and it's solid. So I love this guitar and it sounds great, but it's got some weight on it. So I would take the Gretsch to play a long show over something like this. Tone wise, there's some difference, but the last reference, my Les Paul here, and when Hack, you picked it up the other day, you said, "Wow, this thing's pretty light."
It's really light.
And this thing has the I think it's called the modern chambering.
Yeah.
So it's not, I don't know if it's the entire Swiss cheese. I've seen different route patterns where it's like super elaborate. But this one is definitely not. It's got some holes in it, and it makes it pretty light. So this guitar is basically in between the PRS and the Gretsch in terms of weight and heaviness and comfort, and in general body shape and ergonomics, I'd say. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. Oh, Jerry W's got a question. I already know the answer to this too. Hey, Hutch from BA, welcome, man. I haven't seen you in a while. Jerry W's asking, Hack, which of your Les Pauls does Dennis like the most? And I think I know the answer to that.
Yeah. Did we put that in the video last time?
I think you mentioned it.
Yeah. I it's probably obvious. You know the answer.
Yeah.
It's got to be Snots. Snots just has those Sheptone Heartbreaker pickups and just feels and plays, and it just kills. That guitar is killer.
Yeah. Snots for the win. Yeah. And anytime I've played it on my channel, because I've done that, it's like I've picked up Blackie, I've picked up, the P90, I've picked up, what do you guys like the best? We like Snots. It's like Snots just wins, man. It's those Sheptone pickups.
Yeah.
Folks, Sheptone pickups.
Shout out to Josh.
Great show from Sheptone.
Yeah. Great show with him the other day too.
Yeah.
You should watch that show.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man. And yeah, I'll probably have him on again. He does want to come back, so I'll probably have him on again at some point. There's also a question about amps, and Bobby is asking it, and Gussie asked earlier. So you've got a few different amps. So you want to talk about your amps for a minute? Which amps you got? Which yours your favorites?
Yeah, for sure. Basically, I'm running 4 amps right now. One is a Marshall custom offset. It's a little guy. It's I think it's 10 watts, and it can go down to 1 watt. It's basically that classic Marshall JTM 45 blues breaker tone, but just in a really small, really cute little form factor amp. It looks like a nice little piece of furniture you could sneak upstairs beside your wife's, beside the TV, and she wouldn't notice. But anyway, so that's a really cute little amp. I don't know what tubes it's running. It's just really small scale, but has just that classic Marshall 60s tone that takes pedals well.
I think we recorded with that once, didn't we?
Yeah. It's just the sweetest little sounding amp, but you can't gig with it just because it's like.
Yeah. I think that's what we used on Melon Jolly. I think we used that amp on Melon Jolly. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. It's just that Marshall. I just think of it as a Marshall JTM 45 type, like old school blues breaker. Breaks up really well, but not usable live, but great for recording. So there's that one. Second one, my main amp is a Sir Badger 35, it's a Badger 35. So I've got the version 2 of it, the black one. So I've got the head version of that, and I'm running that into a Hughes and Kettner 1x12 cabinet. I think those basically just come stock with like Celestian 30s, I think. And people can correct us if I'm wrong. Um,
The Hughes and Kenner, you're gonna have a vintage 30 in that.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
HK,
that's
thank you so much for the super chat. And HK, well, let's not finish this question, then I'll ask you HK's question. So go ahead. So you got the Sir, and then what else we got? You got two more.
yeah, that's right. So there's Marshall, there's the Sir. I also have a Mesa Boogie. Um, sorry, I can't remember the name. So it's a California Tweed. So that's a 40-watt amp. That's more on the kind of Fendery, Voxy side. So that's got like 6v6 tubes in it. So I've got my Marshall ground covered. Sir is kind of in between there. Got the Fendery clean side, and then my last amp is the one that we used on our last recording, which you also have, which is the Hughes and Kettner Tubemeister 36. So I've got the head version of that running into the complementary cabs, another Hughes and Kettner 1x12 cabinet.
Yeah, I remember. I remember you had the 18 watt,
Yep,
and then
and it was good.
yeah, and then I remember. I don't know. Were you complaining about it or
That's right.
something? And then I said to you, "Yeah, they sound like shit. Get the 36 watt." You
Yep,
remember saying that?
I remember that. You were like, and then I was like, "Yep, problem solved."
Yeah,
They're great amps.
the 36 watt is just. I don't know what it is, man. It's like it's the same thing with the Marshall Origin.
Right.
You get the 20 watt Marshall Origin. I'm not saying it sounds like crap. It sounds okay, but you get the 50 watt and it
There's a
sounds way
difference.
better. You know what I mean? It's just I don't know what it is. Sometimes a higher wattage amps just sound better. Hey,
Yep.
James Severin, thanks for the super chat. James Severin is saying thanks for all the great content. You're much appreciated, buddy. Okay, HK's got a question. Which guitars would you choose for All Right Now? So if you're gonna play All Right Now, what are you gonna pick up if you're gonna cover that song?
So all right now from Free.
I'm thinking it's free All Right Now.
Yeah. Definitely. First two that pop up to mind would be my Les Paul.
Mm-hmm.
I also have a SG61 reissue, same as similar to what Hack has. I think mine's a little earlier than yours.
You got the
Um,
issue, and then when I bought mine, you said, "Oh, damn it! They sold the same guitar and called it a standard." But
yeah, I know.
you
Yeah,
said I got ripped off. I paid more for, and I have the same guitar, but it's a standard.
that's absolutely right.
You're like,
Yeah,
shit. I should take mine back. Shit, remember that?
yeah. Well, I got so excited because I thought, oh, I've got this cool guitar, and then they just put out the same thing. Same thing with my Explorer. Like they're selling Explorers like crazy. When I got it, I thought, oh man, I'm so cool. I've got this, Explorer reissue. No, they're pumping them out like crazy right now.
Yeah,
But to play that song, I'd prefer sort of a set neck, set bridge, Gibson-y type tone.
humbug.
Um, yeah, so my SG61 reissue, which has pickups from Dark Moon in them as well. So that guitar is another one that I've taken apart and gutted and put a new wiring harness and all that stuff. I don't normally like to do that on guitars, especially they should come kind of
They should.
ready to go.
Yeah,
But one of my friends was making fun of me for here's another Sheptone plug. One of my friends laughed at me for replacing this pickup here with a Sheptone. This is another Sheptone pickup. Like, why would you do that with a guitar like this that costs so much money that should uh, you know be ready to go? And I'm like, well, I really like the Sheptone pickup, so this is a PRS pickup and this is a Sheptone pickup.
yeah.
Because
And how
if
do
you
they
got to get
blend?
that if you got to get that tone, you've got to get that tone, right?
And how do they blend?
Oh, they're fantastic. Yeah, yeah. They're really good match for each other. I do like my bridge pickups in my Les Paul type guitars to have a little more output, a little more girth. Um, and the pickup that was in there before was the PRS low turn style, which was a great and bright pickup, but like for Les Paul aficionados, some of them some Les Pauls they're like, oh, they sound kind of like a telly-ish, right?
Yeah,
Especially on that bridge pickup. which I'm also a fan of, but I kind of really appreciate that lower middle end to be there as well. So when you switch to the bridge, you still get that girth.
Girth, you wanted the girth, yeah.
Yeah, funny way to say it, but like I like my Les Paul sound in Tele like, but also having that punch and that mid range in the bridge, and so I found the Sheptone here. I think this is the same pickup I have in my Explorer. I believe it's the Tribute.
Tribute. Yeah, that's what Josh said. Josh said if you're gonna get a Sheptone and you don't know which one to get, just get the Tribute because it'll do everything.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Yeah,
I swear by them.
The funny thing about this whole Sheptone thing, like when I bought Snots years ago, I didn't know anything about Sheptone pickups. I never heard of Sheptone pickups. I bought that guitar, it was heavily modded. All I know is I plugged the thing in. It sounded incredible. It's like, I want this guitar.
Yeah.
And then later I looked, and then I think it was you that started talking to me about Sheptone. You were into Sheptone. I had no idea about Sheptone.
Yeah.
And the exposure I had to Sheptone was the pickups and Snots. And then I think I mentioned it to you, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I know Sheptone." And then you're like all into Sheptone, and you're replacing friggin' pickups with Sheptone. Small, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
We came across it like different ways, and then all of a sudden, like, we're both big Sheptone fans. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, I've tried other pickups too. I love my Dark Moon stuff. I love the Seymour Duncan stuff that I have in one of my tellies. It just sometimes you get that magic combination. The stuff that I've gotten from Sheptone is just works. Like, it's exactly what I hear in my head.
Exactly, yeah. James Severance made a real nice comment. He says, "Hack, this was your best live chat yet. Nice to see brothers like you guys. Miss mine so much." Oh, that's nice of you, man. Appreciate that. Girth. So Hello Companion says girth is good. Girth is kind of reliability. And he wants you to say,
Yeah, it's my good old bandmates. They know all about that.
he wants you to say girth again.
Shout out, brothers.
All right, cheers. Bruce has got to go. All right.
Cheers,
Well, we could get into pedals, but you've got like more pedals than friggin' Lon McQuaid right now. So I don't know if I want to go on that road. All right. Here's a question. Merrill J, Guitar Hack. What would Dennis say is the least favorite guitar he owns, or has he sold it already? And HK says, aren't you supposed to be fighting like Liam and Noel? And thanks for the super chat. That's funny, man. Even when we were in a band together, we never fought. No.
Yeah. No. Sorry. What was the question? It was about pedals, was it?
No. It was.
Sorry.
Here it is. What would Dennis say is your least favorite guitar that you own, or have you already sold it?
I one time, this was a learning opportunity. I've only ever bought, I think, 2 guitars online, sight unseen. So that's only happened to me. I've only done it twice. And both times I learned to regret it. So one of the worst guitars I ever got, it actually wasn't a bad guitar. It wasn't what I thought it was. It was a PRS Custom 24. It was a Johnny Highland model. And I ordered it online off eBay and got it shipped over from Montreal, Quebec. So there was like tons of problems with the guitar right from the beginning. The person that sold it to me with EMG pickups in it, but posted a picture with the normal PRS pickups. So when I got the guitar, the pickups weren't even wired and they weren't the right pickups.
Oh shit.
So I that was a pain in the butt to get sorted out. I had to go get that all fixed up, and luckily the seller was reasonable enough to cover those costs, and that all worked out okay. But even after I got the guitar set up and working properly, I played a couple live shows with it with the Ninos, and it was I don't know how to explain it. It's sort of like playing a boat anchor. Like there was no like
Yeah. Lifeless.
it was just lifeless. Completely, set back to stock and set up perfectly. I wanted to throw the guitar down the stairs after after a couple gigs.
So
And it's a nice guitar, don't get me wrong.
we got somebody new. We got somebody new in the chat. It's probably a friend of yours, Andrew Church.
Oh yeah.
And he said you can shred better, and there's absolutely no question who can shred better, and it's not me. That's not even no. Yeah, BB Mate says the seller was a scumbag. Yeah.
Yeah, in some cases, so after that learning experience, I'm like, I'm never buying a guitar online again. Love Reverb and whatever, all these websites and all that. I'll buy a pedal, maybe an amp, but I got to get my hands on a guitar if I'm going to take it home and marry it.
All right, HK's going. Good night, HK. Thanks so much for being here, buddy. Couple more questions. Daniel Horsley is asking, and welcome, Daniel. What is your favorite dirt pedal? That's a good question.
That's a great question.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, right now it's probably a tie between two for me. One being the Timmy, which Hack and I got to use the other day before. Just a great overall dirt pedal.
When you guys hear the original song that we're working on, it's all Timmy.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, Timmy straight into the Hughes and Kettner 2 Meister 36, just with two mics. But Timmy's just from day one. It's been one of my favorites.
Yeah.
The second one that I really, really love these days, and I got it about a year ago, is the Friedman Dirty Shirley pedal.
Oh, okay. I never tried that one yet.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think I got it one day and I showed it to you, but we didn't get a chance to plug it in or anything like that. But that's just a fantastic pedal. It's kind of probably my first chance with one of those amp in the pedal type, amp in the box. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it really is sort of like it behaves like an amp, and it has such a great, like all the controls are really powerful. Like you've got such a variety of tones in it. So, and I love the Friedman Shirley, the Dirty Shirley amp. So that pedal is pretty damn close.
Did you try any of my low LPD pedals when you were here?
Yeah. Tried a bunch of them. Yeah, I like them all.
Yeah, they're awesome. Yeah. Harley Hack says, Guitar Hack, I had a couple of guitars that were like that. The Gibson SG that I threw up on the expressway was one. And HM Strat was another. Yeah, sometimes they're out there. Music Therapy Laz has got a question. I'm making sure. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. What was your favorite 80s band? I know it wasn't Motley Crue.
For me?
Yeah.
I guess.
So not necessarily a metal band. He's just saying 80s band. It's tough, eh?
Yeah, like as far as bands coming up in the 80s is actually not my favorite decade, but I'm getting into it now thanks to my Hello Companions. So they've been exposing me to a bunch of really cool 80s bands and music. I mean, as far as bands in their prime, I know they're not technically an 80s band, but Iron Maiden, and again, it's a metal band, but Iron Maiden,
yeah.
For me personally, I just love their music, love their album covers with Eddie on the, I just, when I think of the 80s, I think of Iron Maiden and, 2 Minutes to Midnight and like all kinds of songs.
Yeah. I'd have to go
Judas Priest too. Probably. Sorry. Judas Priest as well, even though
I go Priest over Maiden.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. And I mean, I love a lot of punk, from that time. Sex Pistols, Dead Kennedys. So that's probably where you and I split in terms of.
No. Sex. I love the Sex Pistols, man.
Yeah. I love Buzzcocks. I mean, that's 70s.
I love that stuff too. You probably heard that stuff from me. Never mind. I was listening to that stuff. Actually, I just rediscovered. There's a band called, oh god, the Dimex or something.
Mm.
Anyways, it's this band record that I had and I loved and I lost it and I don't I it just anyways I rediscovered it. I'll send it to you. It's on the whole record's on YouTube. It's like
Yep.
the quintessential early, like, you know, the you can hear in their influence, like they had the punk, but the transitional from the punk into the 80s.
Yeah, the new wave
and,
thing started kicking up.
and the singer has got the perfect voice. I gotta send that to you. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, let me just quickly see if I can plug something here.
Paul's Guitar Music too. Welcome. Is it the D-Mix? It might be the D-Mix Hello Companion. They only put out 2 records. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say,
Talking Heads.
yeah, 80s. I know, again, 70s, but popular in the 80s.
Oh, I love the Talking Heads.
One of my favorites.
Yeah.
If people want to check out Hello Companion Music, we do have a website and a YouTube channel. We're in the process of recording and putting out some tracks soon. So yeah, check out our website. You'll see some of our previous stuff. I think I'm not the first guitar player in the band, but I'm on like a bunch of their more recent recordings. So if you guys go and look up Hello Companion one word.ca, that'll take you to our website. And
Brian, Stewart, no, I'm asking Brian, one of my mods. Brian, would you mind throwing that link up if you could, man? Appreciate that. Throw up the link for Hello Companion. What do you want, the website or do you want the is it a website?
Probably the website, yeah.
And not the YouTube channel?
Oh, why?
Either or.
Yep.
Brian? Who are
we do have some new releases coming out.
Yeah. And by the way, while we're talking about new releases and stuff, I'm ready to finish up. I just came up with some parts today to finish up that song. So whenever you want to get together and finish. Okay, you're linking up my channel, Hello Companion Band. Okay, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I'm trying to get one of my mods to throw up the link.
It's quite possible that if one of my fellow companions are online, they might be able to just drop it in the comments.
Only mods can put up links. That's why I'm asking my mod. That's why I'm asking them to do it. Okay, there it is. Thanks, Brian. Brian just threw up the link to your to the hellocompanion.ca. There you go.
You're the best, Brian. Thank you, sir.
Brian rocks. Oh, you're going to link my channel on your site. Oh, thanks. Appreciate that. Yeah, so whenever you want to get together, let me know and we'll finish that one up.
Yeah.
You know, now that we're all quarantined, there's nothing but time, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. We can hook up and do another recording session there. I think it worked really well last time, just with that simple setup that we had.
Yeah. What I'm gonna bring my. We didn't even talk about my Helix. We'll talk about that maybe another time.
Sure. Yeah.
But the HX effects, I'm gonna bring that over. It's gonna blow your freaking mind. Here's, and in owning it for 2 days, it's fantastic. But I'll tell you, I still have yet to find a drive on that's anywhere near as good as the drives on my pedal board. That's to make one criticism. The drive sounds on it, and somebody was telling me, because there's a whole lot of Helix people in here.
Sure.
And a lot of Helix people in the community, but they have the full-blown Helix that has amp simulations and IRs and all this kind of stuff. And what they're telling me is they don't sound as good without the amp stems. So anyways, but you know what? For what it does, though, it's so easy to program. I could show you how to program that like in 10 minutes. It's so easy.
So we talked about how flexible it is, but it's still not hitting what you want in terms of gain. What are you doing?
Okay, they're possible. but
Yeah.
they're not. They're like 90%. Let's say that, but they're not there. Like there's that one thing, and I'm EQing, and
just missing a bit. Yeah.
Whereas I can hit my 74 Lawrence Petros, boom, instant Marshall. There it is. That's what I want. But it's like that.
So, what's your favorite gain pedal? Is it the LPD stuff that you're rocking?
Hands down, Lawrence. And folks, I don't get paid for LPD pedals. I don't get paid from anybody. Nobody gives me money for anything except
Tim Hortons.
Except for you kind folks in your super chats. But as God is my witness, the LPD 74 pedal is the absolute best drive pedal for me. I love it, love it, love it. It is gold, man. That thing is gold. And I know there's a lot of people in here because he makes another pedal, and you heard it. It's the 87. A lot of people here really love the 87. I'll take the 74 all day long. But that's just me. That's just me. So we're getting close to an hour and a half here. If anyone's got Zach's mentioning the Spin Doctors, another great band. Yeah, that's a 90s band. And that's a band he used to cover a lot too.
Yeah, that guitar player is sick. I think he's Canadian.
Is he? Yeah. So if anybody's got any last minute questions, just fire away. I'm going to wrap this up probably in the next few minutes. And while you're thinking up some questions, I just want to do my regular speech. I want to thank all you folks for tuning in here. Thank you so much for watching. You guys rock. If you guys want to help support the channel, we got super chats. We got below. I've got a PayPal. I've got merch. If you want to get a Guitar Hack shirt, I got t-shirts. I got mugs. I got hoodies. I got new. Well, they're not new anymore, but I got different logos and I got different sayings on the back. So check all that out. And and that's it. Let's all keep this community strong and positive, and let's get through this this crap together. All right. Got a question for me. Okay. Hello, companion. What's your favorite guitar hack? What's my favorite guitar? My favorite guitar is probably going to be, it's either Blackie or Snots. It's one of those two. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
And Brad Miller agrees a 74 really is gold. Yeah, you know what? If you can get your hands on a 74, man, I'd be all over that like a fat kid on a Smartie. Yeah. So any last minute questions here, folks? Okay. Here's a question. Brian asks, Guitar Hack, what is your favorite guitar of Dennis' collection? It was the Les Paul that he showed earlier. Hands down. Why? Because it's a Les Paul. No, it's a really good Les Paul. I've played it. It sounds good, and it's really light. I could do a gig with that, no problem. That is not a heavy load. Not a heavy load. All right.
Yeah, it's not a backbreaker.
Yeah. All right, Dennis. Anything you wanted to mention to the folks? You got the band. We put the link up, or Brian put the link up. Anything else you want to promote, talk about?
Not really. Just want to say thanks for having me on Hack. Shout out to all your wonderful YouTube friends and the greater community that you got set up here and going. Thanks to all my friends, bandmates, and everybody else that tuned in. And we'll hook up soon. I guess everybody, please tune into this guy's channel. And hope everybody had a good time and stay healthy. Take care, everybody.
All right, let's just get this one last question. Jerry W is asking if you took lessons.
Sorry, if I took lessons?
Guitar lessons.
If I took lessons,
yeah.
I've taken lessons. Yeah. I don't learn, but I've taken them.
There you go. All right, thanks everybody. Thanks for watching the show. Oh, and I have an announcement, folks. Saturday night at 10 p.m. on Brian S.'s channel, we are going to be doing a live stream. It's going to be myself. It's going to be Brian. It's going to be Dave R. and maybe a fourth person. So check that out. If you guys are looking for something to watch on Saturday night at 10 o'clock on Brian Stewart's channel, you're going to see a bunch of us just acting foolish, which we're really good at. So there you go. All right, everybody. Have a fantastic night. You guys rock. Stay safe. And we'll see you soon. Cheers, everybody. Take care.
Take care.